there are unlimited possibilities on all of our decisions, but if we know that and have the right intention and the right vibration for it, we can direct it into the right way. We can make that. I believe that the cat can be alive. It can be. But we'll never know until we make that decision. The possibility that it's dead, but
you're literally waiting. You're literally waiting around for it to die.
Yeah, you're literally waiting around. It's going to die. The longer you wait and juggle the possibilities, it's going to die.
Yeah.
The longer you wait to ask out the girl, she's going to meet another guy.
Yep.
The longer you wait to make the job interview, they already found another guy.
Yeah.
So the cat will always be dead if you stop and don't look at the box. Yeah.
Your fear is just holding you back.
I've known about Schrödinger's cat for 3 years. When I first learned about it, it was a hard concept for me to learn about because I didn't know much about waveforms and quantum particles.
Okay.
So when I first heard about it, it was after DMT, and it's just flooded with all this information, and I couldn't really get my point on what it meant, and because it's a thought experiment. It's nothing but just to make your thinking mind think about the Copenhagen interpretation.
Yeah, and it really is about the observer.
What was his name? Heisenberg and Bohr came up with the Copenhagen interpretation, which is that a quantum particle is not necessarily in one state or another, but in all states at the same time.
Yes.
So a quantum particle is before observation. Quantum is before observation. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Yeah.
Quantum is
before
sight,
before measurement,
before our visual sight,
hearing, taste, anything, any measurable thing.
So you do have to explain the cat. The cat's a living thing, and while it's in that box, and the quantum state is not observed by the measurement, essentially the cat could be in one of those two states.
And so, Schrödinger's cat thought experiment
basically
is
drawing out the idea of the quantum.
Erwin Schrödinger put an idea that you put a cat in a box, and then you put a vial of poison in there as well, with a random timed opening at any time. We can't know when that poison is going to be open, but it is going to be open. That's for certain. We know that. So the cat and the poison are in the closed box. During that time of the box being closed, the thought is that the cat is dead and alive at the same time through our perception.
As far as you're concerned, until it opens, it is.
Yes. So
it's alive, and you know the conclusion is it's dead.
But at that moment, it's both, and that's. I think it's after thinking about it, it's a brilliant way of putting the interpretation of a particle can exist simultaneously in every position.
Yeah, and it makes it accessible, right? Because everybody can understand whether a cat's alive or dead. But trying to explain to somebody
that it's at the same time. Yeah. So let's put that in there. So that's where my thought came in this. So the Schrödinger's cat thought experiment really is expressed in our daily life, and we deal with this all the time. This is like us asking a person out, or attempting to getting a job interview, or buying that new house or investment. Before we do that, before I ask out a girl, before I ask her out, both possibilities exist of her saying yes and we date, and her saying no and rejecting me at the same time. It's called fantasy and denial, or fantasy and rejection, right? But those both exist at that moment of thought process before asking her out. Now then, asking her out would be the mental device, and we find out where that goes. But before you ask her out or take that job interview of getting the job or not, both possibilities exist at that exact same time.
Right.
And we as humans, we lay our brains into that. That's what keeps us from actually opening the box.
Oh, yeah.
Because we want one outcome, but the equally other outcome is just there as well. So both situations exist simultaneously in our brain until we open that box and make that decision.
Right.
And we live a whole life like that.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Fear of the box.
Fear of the cat being
of the knowing of the box.
Right.
Exactly. The Matrix Resurrections, right?
Yeah, right.
Hope and despair are nearly identical.
They're identical. Right. So the cat being dead or alive, it's just. I thought it was amazing how
it teaches you to live in the moment.
Right. It teaches you the
every moment matters.
It teaches you that every moment does have circumstances or constraint, but that shouldn't keep us from it. But we should know that that's what we're doing. We are seeing the worst and best case scenario at the same time, and fighting on that. And now, if you see those and you're aware of that, you can see, well, do I think highly of myself? I do. So I need to go for that job interview, because the more I believe in myself, the cat will be alive.
Yeah. Or even better, you're not really truly drinking in life, right? Like you're just sitting there watching a box that you don't know whether
or not
you don't go opening boxes, right?
Yeah, that's
right. And I hate to go back to the Matrix again, but
you always do. It's great,
right? But it's essentially you spend your life desiring what you don't have, but afraid to lose what you do have.
Schrodinger's cat,
right? That's Schrödinger's cat. That's right there.
Right there.
Which is as soon as you make that decision to find out which way it's going, that's when
it's done. The box is
open. It's either dead cat or you got a live one.
Yeah, dead or alive cat, right? You no more both the scenarios. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's I thought, and that's what we do all of our life. But Schrödinger just came up with it with a great experiment that I never really got for a long time, but it makes complete sense of living in that limbo or that purgatory of thought.
It is pivotal.
Once we know that, like, let's say that we do understand now that that job interview, that girl, that investment, that we are stuck in a kind of a purgatory or limbo thought process of, do I want to open that box because the cat is alive and dead at this moment? Well, then, if we know that and we're aware of that, what can we do about that? How can we, therefore, collapse the particle in our favor, change the outcome in our favor? Well, I think that goes with knowing your pain body, knowing intention. And once we know intention and the weight of our pain body, and that we'll be able to make decisions to go in the outcome of getting that job or getting that goal. Confidence in ourselves and intention in this, right?
Because if you have intention that the cat's alive, then your
better
intention
possibility
is most likely is going to be.
Well, that's
who's to say that poison bomb went off?
Or not? Yeah, it's that fear of opening and seeing a dead cat. But if your intention, so intention does mean a lot. If you have an intention of
we can change outcome.
I just find it interesting because the Schrödinger's cat does give us the thought experiment that everything does exist at the same time before we measure or observe it or make that decision to do something. I also believe that empowers us to know it, to we're able to make decisions based on that, because there are unlimited possibilities on all of our decisions. But if we know that and have the right intention and the right vibration for it, we can direct it into the right way. We can make that. Right. I believe that the cat can be alive. It can be. But we'll never know until we make that decision. The possibility that it's dead, but
you're literally waiting. You're literally waiting around for it to die.
Yeah, you're literally waiting around. It's going to die. The longer you wait and juggle the possibilities, it's going to die.
Yeah.
If the longer you wait to ask out the girl, she's going to meet another guy.
Yep.
The longer you wait to make the job interview, they already found another guy. So the cat will always be dead if you stop and don't look at the box. Yeah.
Your fear is just holding you back.
And so then, therefore, the fear becomes real, right? We manifest our own fears.
And that's the hard part, is that sometimes, no matter what you do, no matter when you open up that box, that cat is as good as dead.
Yeah.
And that's going to have to be okay.
It's going to have to be okay.
Yeah.
There's a 50-50 chance.
You're not the victim. Remember, you're not the victim.
There's at least a 50-50 chance.
Right.
Because I know that the cat was alive in the beginning.
You're only the victim if you don't open the box.
At the beginning, it was alive.
We want to be the victim because we feel like we are the victims. We see a dead cat. That dead cat's the only victim. We're just the observer of it. Yeah. Not getting that job is not really, you're not a victim of. It just gives you another opportunity to open another box and find a live cat.
Right. And I feel like that's why an overwhelming message is don't go opening boxes. You are a victim.
Absolutely. Yeah, don't open the boxes. I don't want you to feel that. I don't want you to feel that.
We need to protect you from the boxes.
Protect you from the box.
Yeah.
Even though there could be your best live kitty in there.
Yeah.
Right. That you've been searching for your whole fucking life.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly right.